my hand.
Thanks. Look at that.
It's amazing.
Tomb Raider's 2013 reboot did what it needed to do. It modernized and reinvented a stale franchise. Now it's time for the next step, a sequel. Rise of the Tomb Raider is famed treasure hunter Lara Croft's second adventure. Her tool set has been broadened and her skills have been pushed, something Rise of the Tomb Raider has promised to capitalize on. Is this sequel to Tomb Raider a huge improvement like Uncharted 1 to Uncharted 2, or has Uncharted 1 over this Uncharted Me Too? Let's find out here in this review of Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Jonah! We made it! I see the ruins! Oh god.
Uncharted and Tomb Raider have been leapfrogging in terms of inspiration. Nathan Drake owes a lot to Lara's early polygonal days, while Lara's reboot was firmly planted in Uncharted territory. Although Ms. Croft's newest adventure also takes a few cues from The Last of Us, very little of it comes together with the grace of any of Naughty Dog's work. Lara's gunplay echoes that of most third-person shooters, with a finicky, non-sticky cover system. Enemies flood in and Lara uses her guns or bow to take them out. But Lara sloppily teeters on the edge of survival-based tension and erratic, frantic gunplay, and neither feel fully expanded upon. Sneaking is simple, thriving mainly on the pure rush of tiptoeing behind guards and cutting their throats open. Its simplicity does backfire though, since there aren't enough systems to differentiate most encounters. You sneak behind the same few enemies with little strategy or variation until you inevitably get caught and blast your way out. Stealth is a viable option, and picking off guards is occasionally thrilling, but the incentive to sneak is mainly powered by the desire to not devolve into loud gunplay. Shooting feels like a punishment due to the wonky, inaccurate aiming, which makes it difficult to get a bead on an enemy and subsequently drains the adrenaline from most encounters. The fast-paced nature of the combat goes directly at odds with the survival theme the game tries to hit home. Lara can scavenge and craft healing items and ammo when the time calls for it, and that gives a nice reward for exploring the environment. However, the tension from the sneaking and crafting is dissolved by the very nature of the action-filled gunplay, where automatic weapons and waves of dumb enemies take precedent over the phantom of a handful of intelligent adversaries. The two types of gameplay don't mix well when forced together in this way, meaning it wants survival-based tension and grandiose action, but can't crack the code on how to convincingly glue them together. Glimpses of greatness peek through the cracks in the foundation when the janky cover system cooperates and the weapons feel empowering, but it's disappointing that these moments aren't more prevalent in a game that should aspire to be something as different and intelligent as its protagonist. Platforming and puzzle solving are where Lara shines her brightest. Between shootouts, Rise of the Tomb Raider gates your progress with bouts of traversal and puzzles, usually blending the two. Aside from providing a quiet, cerebral pace changer from the gunplay, these puzzles genuinely encourage creativity. They'll exhaust your toolset and test your brain, something that's extremely refreshing given the general mindlessness of the cover-based shooting. Traversal sans puzzles can lead to some random tirades of frustration, as Lara can sometimes lose her grip and not use her tools without any sort of explanation, but pillaging tombs is easily Lara's most impressive asset and something the game should focus on. The quality of these tombs makes it odd to push most of them into optional tasks. Strictly mainlining the game can give the impression that Rise is mostly about shooting and less about solving ancient mindbenders. Had more been infused into the main campaign, the game would have better pacing with mechanics that are exponentially more satisfying than the gunplay. Lara isn't slaughtering goons and raiding tombs because she's a treasure plundering psychopath. She's after an ancient artifact detailed in her late father's research, something that she feels compelled to continue. Of course, a religious group of nutcases are also after this mysterious treasure, giving Lara hell as she tries to stay one step ahead of them. As was the case with the last Tomb Raider, every character in this sequel is as flat and generic as possible. Everyone is forgettable, and while Lara's determination is admirable and worthy of respect, even she fails to bring herself outside of the sleep-inducing cardboard cutout cast. The lack of wit or depth in the script paints this by-the-numbers treasure plot as the basic by-the-numbers plot that it truly is. Having characters you don't care about only accentuates its cliche nature, even if the bad guy's motivation for stealing the artifact is given an unexpected human touch that gives this narrative at least one noteworthy wrinkle. Bland caricatures or not, they're not as technically drab as they are emotionally. Impressive visual detail and fluid animation do a respectable job of overshadowing the shallow conversations that carry the predictable story along. Environments are even more gorgeous. From the snowy mountaintops to the grassy forests, Rise of the Tomb Raider astonishes with its sweeping vistas and big action set pieces. Impeccable lighting helps in every aspect too, giving all the locales a chance to literally shine in the best way and show off how fantastic the natural settings actually look. This is one of those games that desperately needs a photo mode to brag about its visuals. Rise of the Tomb Raider improves upon the 2013 reboot, but not in ways that feel like a drastic step up. Issues with the combat, story, and characters leave this game just about where its predecessor left off in those areas. However, in today's gaming landscape, a lateral step like that is more of a small step back, especially when all those aspects weren't all that good to begin with. Although pumping up the visuals and letting Lara actually raid tombs this time around can overwrite some of the inconsistencies, at least until you are forced to stumble through more combat. This Tomb Raider's newest adventure is still greater than the sum of its parts, even if some of those parts are only worth the silver treasure. Rise of the Tomb Raider gets an 8 out of 10. Thank you everybody for watching, and my name is Michael Airy and I'm signing off. Later.